Okay, everyone, welcome back. Once again, thank you for joining us here today at WebEx 2024. It's now time to move on to our next panel. それでは皆様改めまして本日は WebEx2024 にお越しいただき誠にありがとうございます。ここで再開いたしますが早速ですが、次のセッションに参りたいと思います。次のセッションですが、未来を守るDeFi 資産保護への革新的アプローチというタイトルとなっております。So our next panel will be Securing the Future, Innovative Approaches to DeFi Asset Protection. And I'd like to introduce our panelists. First up, CSO and Partner at Bit2Me, Mr. Abel Peña. Co-founder and CSO of Synfutures, Matt Liu. CEO and co-founder at Safepal, Veronica Wong, and co-founder and CEO of Chainsight, Mr. Wasim Fukase. So everyone, give him a big round of applause. 皆様、大きな拍手でお迎えください. Come on to the stage, please. All right, so if everyone is ready to go, I'll just hand it over to you guys, and let's go ahead and get started. ご準備はいかがでしょうか? Is everyone ready?
大丈夫ですかね?
Okay, お願いします.
Sounds good? Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for coming. We're going to be talking about DeFi securities today. My name is Wasim. I'm the co-founder CEO of Chainsight, as intro. We have a very good 3 guests right here. So maybe we go a little introduction from the very end.
Sure, thank you very much. So this is Abel Peña from Bit2Me. We are the largest Hispanic crypto company since 2014, 10 years already in the market. We covered since around 300 different tokens, buy, sell, swap, earn products, launchpad listing, and covering Spain, Europe, and Latin American countries.
Matt?
Hi, this is Matt. I'm a co-founder and chief strategy officer at Synfutures. We're a perp DEX. We have been building this for the last 3 years. And most recently, we're mostly on Blast and Base, the 2 Ethereum L2s. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. This is Veronica. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Safepal. So we founded Safepal in 2018, so it's been 6 years younger than Bit2Me. So right now, Safepal, it's a comprehensive full suite wallet solution for crypto owners to secure and grow their crypto wealth. So we do have a diversified product lines, including hardware wallets, mobile wallet, and browser extensions, backed by some of the top investors in the space, including Binance, Animoca Brands, and Superscript, Temasek Fund. So right now we do support more than 100 blockchains, 15 languages. We are serving more than 15 million users global-wide, majority in North America and Europe. And actually Japan, interestingly, is our top 3 countries in the APAC region. So it's very exciting to be here. This is my second time at WebEx, and looking forward to the wonderful conversation today.
Thank you very much. So thank you very much for the introduction. And just quickly, as Chainsight, we're doing on-chain hub as an Oracle service. So we actually work with a few of the guys maybe around here in WebEx, and probably looking forward to working with you guys. First of all, thank you very much for coming to Tokyo. I know you had to travel quite a long distance. I think we have a lot of audience from Japan. Who's here from Japan? Raise your hand. Okay. Who had to travel to Tokyo? Yeah, okay, very few. First of all, I just want to quickly entertain maybe the guests. How is your experience so far in Tokyo?
Fabulous. It's I cannot stop eating everywhere all the time.
For me, I just can't sleep enough. Every night it's 2 to 3 hours sleeping. It's been amazing for builders in crypto.
Tokyo is like amazing. It's like a combination of culture, nice food, nice people. Like it's really nice. Last October, I traveled here alone with my 3 kids. And we travel like Tokyo, Hakone, Osaka, like different places. And interestingly, every one of them have different cultures and different kind of things to see. It's kind of amazing and like a treasure box that you can keep developing and also unfolding. So every time that when I have a trip arrangement to Japan, it's kind of very exciting.
Wow, interesting. So let us go into the main topics of DeFi securities. First of all, what do you see as the most significant security challenges, especially in DeFi space? From my experience understanding, maybe Japan is a little bit, towards DeFi is a little bit slower, maybe comparing to other countries. That's my personal opinion. But what do you think as a DeFi sector today? Maybe I don't know.
Well, I would say that there are a few points that make DeFi quite complex for users, and if you don't have special technical abilities, they can fall very easily in some of the scams, like vulnerabilities in smart contracts. I would say it is one. Feeding fake information to oracles is another way to exploit the protocols. And then the lack of education, I would say that for me are the most important parts.
Yeah, from my perspective, I have seen in especially recent years, there are 2 issues in terms of DeFi security faced by the users. Number one, from the builder's perspective, there is a lack of ingenuity, I would say, especially in this cycle. We have seen so many projects were actually forks or fork plus a little bit of change in the code that actually pose significant security issues, because some of these exploits, when it happens, is not only going to impact just one of the protocols, but it will have a chain effect. And the second security issue we have seen from the builder's perspective is recently in this cycle, I do believe people pay less attention to the level of decentralization of the protocols. People talk more about how much profit or how much farming yield they can make instead of how safe basically the notion is, how decentralized the protocol is, how open it is. People talk. I would say, yeah, this is a serious issue, but hopefully, it is getting better addressed soon. Yeah.
Safepal has been serving consumer ends for 6 years. This year, we are hearing more conversations talking about how to attract the next billion users into Web3. But the biggest hurdles that we are seeing nowadays is not about protocol building, data user experience. It's more about trust. Scamming is a kind of the biggest headache that we have on a daily basis. Based on the user reports that we receive every day, about more than half of those reports actually are scam cases. Like people lose money, people lose trust, people lose their faith in crypto. They got scammed in the first day on, and they walk away and never came back. So this is hurting the builders and the brands in the space. This is hurting the trust. So we do feel that scam and also a more general wide scale of user education would be the critical hurdle that is hindering a lot of users entering crypto and Web3 in general. For example, in the last 6 months, in the last 2 quarters, we have actually reported and taken down more than 800 fake websites, malicious dApps, and also fake Telegram accounts, fake Twitter handles, and all those, not just from Safepal, but also some to protect some other protocols, like trying to filter all these. But we do feel that it's like a wild grass, right? It keeps growing and it keeps coming back. So this is something that I do feel that probably the players in the industry would need to join hands together to fight back. This cannot be done by some individual company or team. It has to be done by the alien of every single player in the industry. So we do feel that this is hurting the reputation of Web3 and also hindering people from entering the space eventually if we are talking about like bringing million scale of consumers into Web3. So we do feel that this is kind of the headache that a lot of the legitimate teams and brands here who are building in the space are facing with.
So I think it was interesting that you mentioned about scam, right? Who in the audience have an experience of getting rugged?
Reluctant to
Yeah,
recognize.
I saw one hand over there. So I think DeFi, actually, you mentioned good point about education. I think that's something that we all need to understand in DeFi spaces. Going back to Bill, how is Bit2Me approaching asset protection for users engaging with DeFi protocols on exchanges?
Well, we took it very serious since the very beginning 10 years ago, and we invested a lot of money in educating our users. We built the first and the largest crypto academy worldwide, free of use. We have millions of users learning with us about what does it mean, like for example, like Bitcoin, or what is a smart contract and how to interact with a smart contract. So basically, we want to have users that are educated enough to do their own research when they need to interact with a protocol for the first time. This is one part of the education, but the other part is the education that they are not aware, but we can help them with. And for example, what I mean is like we have broad databases about addresses of wallets or interactions with a smart contract that are scams, and we prevent them by stopping the transactions when they are going to send and transfer funds to those protocols. So what we explain then is like you're subject that you're going to be on scam, and you need to do more research. Apparently, some people, they want to be a scam. And I mean by that because they request, no, I really want to send the money and transfer funds to this address. And we say, listen, you're going to be a scam. You're not going to recover your funds. But apparently, like greed is more powerful than the rationality in some of the minds. In those cases, we say, okay, then it's up to you. We made them sign a specific document where we told them like we have told you this, just in case you wanna come back later on to us for any claim, because at the end they are their funds, so we cannot keep them for because we won, and we were always fully compliant since the very beginning. So we took this part of the education very seriously in order to protect our users. And other two things that we do is like we have a very broad listing and launchpad. So we do a very deep due diligence before listing any project in our exchange. So the users know that whatever asset that we have, I mean, everyone can be hacked, but if you are hacked, it is not the same that you are running a scam. And so this is the main ways we protect our users.
Thank you. How about Matt? With Synfutures, like incorporating like innovation, DeFi projects, what do you see in the security measures with your projects or as a DeFi space?
So we do two things, but basically it's following one philosophy, which is we want to be as DeFi as possible. So first thing is we want to be as decentralized as possible. We build on a set of smart contracts that enables the function of the trading, risk management, etc. Right now, we don't at all run our own server, our own network that will pose, like I would say, underlying security issue for the users. So every user today on Synfutures, their security is guaranteed by the underlying consensus mechanism of the network itself. For example, of Ethereum, of the L2s, rather than by a server or a set of servers that we run as Synfutures ourselves. So that's one. Second one, of course, we've got a good team that wrote every line of code ourselves. We have 5 PhDs. Some of them are in math, some are in cryptography, and we also have a team of quant. We want to make sure these are not only written in a perfect coding sense, but also in a financial sense, so that when users interact with our smart contracts, they don't get economically exploited. Yeah.
Thank you. And back to you, Veronica. I think as your project, Safepal, you're promising Safen. So what kind of, as a hardware wallet, right? How do you protect these DeFi assets as Safepal?
Yeah, I think building a consumer-facing product is always challenging because users would confront different kind of issues on a daily basis. We started hardware wallet because we find that people were suffering from the losses of security hacks. Sometimes exchanges, sometimes DeFi protocols. So we built hardware wallet just in hope that it's going to protect users' assets. 2 years later, we also had the mobile wallet, and later on browser extension. It's a longer story. But until last year, we realized that it's not just about building a good product that is audited, open source, of course, right? And then operated on the market for several years without any security attacks and vulnerabilities. We do feel that as a Web3 company, it's more of the obligations and responsibilities of the team really to guide users through that process. Like in the first 2-3 years, we were obsessed of creating tutorials, creating infographics, like videos, like hoping that somebody will watch and see. But it proves that it's such a high learning curve that actually seldom people would pay that kind of effort and attention to watch all those contents. So like back 2-3 years ago, we started to build all those things into our products. When people created their first wallet, we make sure, just like Abel mentioned, like click, 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 like make sure that you read through these few small tips that is essential to protect your accounts. And then then that's it. And then when they move the first batch of money out of the wallet or back and forth, or they make the first transfer, they make the first DeFi protocol authorization, they connect to the first dApp on the open blockchain. Whenever all of these kind of key milestones of user behavior in the whole journey, we tend to pop in and opt in to give more guidance along the way, like right in the wallet. Instead of telling them to watch this and watch that, we straight tell them based on their behavior, right? This is your first transaction, and you probably need to like watch out for these small tips. Or in the later stage, we develop a mechanism trying to detect whether user is copying the right address. For example, a lot of people actually send funds to smart contracts instead of wallet addresses, and they can't really tell the differences. So we are trying to build these kind of dev tools, and also by ourselves, and also with our partners, to gather all those malicious dApp data to build a blacklist. This is the step one. Step two is that to build all of a database for the library database for smart contracts, so that we can identify when user copy the wrong thing to make a transfer. And then moving on from there, we're kind of expanding our database in combating all of those malicious acts whenever people try to move their money or when they are doing actual actions to the wallet, such as like hiding away small amount of transfer because it can be contaminated by other attackers trying to phish you, right, to connect to the wrong dApps or to connect to the wrong NFT protocols. So these are the things that we find that would be much more useful than creating a content and then just nabbing users that check this out, right? So this is something that we have learned along the way. That is actually true for every Web3 company, that it's not just about building the product itself. It's also about how to make sure the target audience that you are serving actually understands what the risks or the takeaways behind using the product, and then make sure they have a safe experience along the way. So we do feel that is kind of very important, but not many teams are doing that nowadays. But we do see that coming along the way for the mass scale of user acquisition that would become critical for building brands and also to building the reputation among the target audience. Yeah.
Thank you. And I think it's the same with me when we're talking with dApps who needs Oracle service. What's the security measure? What's the, all this question comes first, right? Since you guys are also in the front line on DeFi exchanges, like what have you seen as like an advancement in technologies, and what have you implemented maybe, or what are you looking forward to?
Well, in our case, as we don't interact directly with DeFi, we basically serving as on-ramp, off-ramp. And here is the important part. When you are on-ramping, usually there is not much problems because you can prove the origin of the funds. Maybe it's your salary, maybe you sold a house, anything. But when you interact with DeFi, it's very important that you track all the movements that you do. So when you need to pay your taxes, you can show clearly how you build your net worth, and this is when you're trying to offboard all of that money. It's important that you can prove it, especially when dealing with centralized exchange. And nowadays, most of exchanges will become fully compliant. They will ask KYC, AML, and origin of the funds. So this is very, very important part for the DeFi users to have in mind, that it's going to be a time that if they want to offboard that crypto, they need to track it. It's important.
Yeah, from our experience, actually there is a balance we always need to strike between safety and growth, right? In the past, that was really a real issue, but we have seen with the introduction of account abstract, introducing the signless transactions on the platform, introducing social logins, there have been, this seems to be like a solution to balance the two while we run DeFi to the mass market.
I think we follow the complete user cycle. I think the first thing that ever comes to your mind when it comes to crypto is that how do I buy it, right? So fiat on and off ramp, like Abel mentioned, would be a critical entry point. But after you enter crypto, like trade, swap, moving it across different chains, exploring the universes of different ecosystems would follow the footprints of your wallet activities. So we try to tackle every single one of them along the way. Some interesting projects that we are building this year and also incubating for next year includes this March we have actually launched a Swiss banking gateway in the wallet. Basically allows you to own a fully compliant. We are a big advocate of compliance. So 100% compliant Swiss bank account for you to on and off ramp through fiat currencies. Currently, we support Europe, we support pounds, and coming next would be US dollars very soon. So this allows people to have a compliant way, trackable way to on and off ramp and have a safe way to step into Web3 as the first step. And the next milestone that we are hitting is actually happening in September. That is, we are going to have our mini wallet on Telegram. This is really just trying to introduce the same level of security or wallet experience on one of the largest applications on the planet. Telegram serves more than 900 million users global-wide, and we are trying to tap into that ecosystem, trying to solve the problem that people are facing when they are using crypto on Telegram platform. So our Safepal mini app is going to be live very soon, I think in the next upcoming 3-4 weeks. And then something that we're incubating for next year would be something surrounding account abstraction and MPC. To my gut feeling that I do feel that this is still in the baby stage, so not a very mature technology that you can already adopt into the mass scale of consumer products, because there are still some problems about interoperabilities between the chains, such as AA right now only supports EVM chains. It means that every non-EVM chains might not be able to adopt it, or they would have to develop their own way. That means the interoperability of the accounts on different chains would become a problem. We are soon going to be seeing that tackle and solve. We firmly believe that it's just a matter of time. Like for MPC, it also have other issues regarding how people can custody their own keys. So we do feel that moving to next year, 2025, should be coming to a mature timing that we can implement that into our wallet experience to make it safer and easier for people to manage their key and store their crypto assets. So this is something that we are incubating, but not really bringing up live on the table, but definitely looking forward to that.
All right. So interesting keywords: compliance, AML, KYC, right? Who here uses a Telegram app? Yes, you're crypto guys. So when we're talking about Telegram, or when we're talking, I think, compliance, we definitely have to go through regulatory bodies, right? As a regulatory bodies are developing, working with crypto companies, working with you guys on exchanges, wallets, what are the, from your experience, from your conversation with regulatory bodies across Europe, Asia, US, like, what are their approach? Like, what do they want to know, especially in like the security space? Like, what are they forcing you?
Well, basically, they want you to be sure that you know who is your user. Like, request their ID, and when you are transacting upper certain levels, that to ask for the origin of the funds. This is very important. And the same way that I was explained before, when you have the off-ramping, if the volume is too high, to ask where the funds were coming from. Maybe they were investing. I mean, it's not that we really care about how they build their wealth. It's just we just want to be sure that they have all the documents and ready, just in case they are asked by their governments, respectively. We need to understand that the world is going to be divided into several categories. Like developed countries with regulation, they will fully compliance. And in countries that they are not banking, they will use DeFi. They don't have any other option. So you cannot ask them to do origin of the funds and to ask for documents to citizens of those countries. And it's going to be in the ones in the middle, where you have the regulation. It's going to be up to the user to do everything by the regulation, or they have the opportunity to operate offshore of the regulation in DeFi. But then they will face the problem that if they want to convert that into fiat, they will have a problem.
So our experience is since 2021, our team have been in discussion with several national or supranational level of regulatory bodies to basically educate them what is DeFi, what can people do, and why DeFi is better than CeFi, and then why DeFi could be a solution to avoid anything like FTX. Trust me, that's the issue in the regulator's mind. And I believe where this industry has developed to a certain stage, while the regulatory bodies are also very open to learn and to catch up, to form constructive regulations. Because at the end of the day, that's, from a builder's perspective, we also welcome very constructive regulatory, I would say, regime or new regulations. Because at the end of the day, if we want to grow our users to, I don't know, one day 100 million, then I cannot sleep at night if there's no proper regulation, because God knows what can go wrong with so many users. But we need to be there one day. That's why, from builder's perspective, we are very open to communicate with the regulators for better DeFi regulation and the time foster the growth of the industry.
To be 100% honest, decentralized wallet like Safepal isn't really in the frontier of the regulatory conversation. Like, that is a matter of fact. So nowadays we are seeing exchanges, centralized exchanges, being the first layer in connection to regulations, while followed by other centralized service platforms, including custody, including trading desks and all those, and then followed by DEXs. It's another form of exchanges, but decentralized exchanges, and then followed by probably other builders like wallets and also DeFi protocols. So we are seeing different layers and going deeper as these conversations of regulations going deep. But even as a decentralized wallet, we do have a small branch of our team handling all of the requests from the regulators on a daily basis. So far, our main focus is that we feel from those requests and also tickets mainly come from two perspectives. First, about taxes. We receive from our users, especially in Europe, when the tax regulations is probably more strict or comes even earlier than other part of the world, consumers would ask for tax reports, would ask for all of the data of their wallet activity to be downloaded, to be exported, so that to support their tax purposes. That is one of the biggest kind of applications or one of the biggest kind of touch points when it comes to decentralized crypto investments. The second would be regulation, just like Abel mentioned, like KYC. Like regulators are keen, or they reached out to ask for any potential threats, any potential transfer flows of a suspicious transaction or activity. We believe this is out of the protection of the consumer, protection of the victims who fell for either scams or phishing attacks and whatnot, or hackers attacks from different scenarios. So these two are the biggest kind of scenarios that we are seeing. But as a decentralized world, we are quite active. We are quite pro compliance. We do believe that compliance and regulated market would lead us eventually to the next massive scale of user adoption globally. Because right now, compared to the mass scale of internet users, like crypto penetration is probably less than 10% or something like that. We are looking at probably like 300 to 400 million users in crypto. But like that is 10x when it compares to the internet users. Like how to break this kind of curve, how to break these kind of penetration points, we do feel that regulation will become more and more important. But to this nowadays, I think most people are watching over United governments, right? United States government. They are looking over like how SEC is handling all of these cases with Binance. They also send tickets to Coinbase. They also send tickets to Uniswap. So I believe the whole industry is watching over for these moves of regulators versus the big players in the crypto space and how that conversation goes. I think that is going to set a benchmark for the next 10 years to come when it comes to the regulatory landscape in the Web3. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I think we've run out of time, but I think, very, very knowledgeable session talking about DeFi securities, regulatories, and so far. Please do follow, Abel from Bit2Me. I think you guys have the Twitter accounts, with the Synfutures as well as Safepal, and of course with us with Chainsight. So please reach out to us if you do have any questions. We'll be around, right? So yeah, thank you very much. Any last words from you guys to the audience of Japan?
Very happy to be back next year, definitely.
Love it. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Glad to know that 7 people got scammed here in the space. So hope you have a safe journey upcoming in the 5-10 years. Yeah.
And please use Safepal. So thank you very much, everyone. And we're going to be moving ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. ありがとうございました。ちょっとグループ写真を撮らせていただきたいと思いますので、ちょっとステージの中央あたりにお集まりいただけますでしょうか。So can you please make your way to the center of the stage? We're going to take a quick group photo here. ありがとうございました。皆様改めて拍手お願いします。Another round of applause. Thank you very much. Okay, so probably being, around this time of day, you're probably getting a little bit hungry, so it's the perfect time to take a lunch break. So we're going to take about a 40-minute lunch break, and as soon as that's finished, we'll be back with our next session. I hope you will join us then. Hope to see you there. これよりですね、40分の、ブレイクタイムとさせていただきます。きっとちょっとお腹空いてきたんじゃないかなと思いますので、ぜひランチでもお召し上がりください。再開ですけれども、12時50分を予定しておりますけれども、その時間までにぜひ、お席の方にお戻りいただけたらと思います。So as I mentioned, we're having about a 40-minute break. We'll be starting at about 12:50 p.m. So we hope to see you there or see you here at our next session. Thank you very much.